It's a synagogue location. Between 6 to 20 shots heard.
Right now on 10 News this morning, a deadly synagogue shooting in Poway. 1 person dead and 3 others injured as a bomb squad searched the suspect's vehicle overnight.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
And of course, we do have team coverage on what we are learning about the attack. 10 News this morning starting now. It is Sunday, April 28th. Coming up on 8 o'clock, I'm Mary McKenzie.
And I'm Melissa Messiha. And as we were talking about mayhem after a gunman opened fire during Passover services, we do have team coverage coming up on this deadly shooting. But first, we do want to begin really quickly with our forecast this morning. Right now, let's take you outside here to our Coronado sky cam, where we can see the bridge fairly quiet, but definitely cloudy skies here. 62 degrees, those winds coming out of the west-northwest at 6 miles per hour. The sun is up, although you can't quite see it in many of our sky cams. The sunset tonight a little after 7 o'clock, close to 7:30. Hour by hour here along the coast, it is going to be another gray day. It's going to have a hard time to see the sun there along the coast. We'll be in the upper 60s by this afternoon, 58 degrees by 9 o'clock tonight. In our inland valleys, we are going to be a few degrees warmer. We're going to be near the mid-70s, but again, it's going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with more changes in store overnight. We're talking about some showers coming up. We'll have that in the extended forecast.
And now to our developing story out of Poway, where 1 person has been killed after a teen opened fire on the Chabad of Poway synagogue.
Here's what we do know at this point. A woman was killed. 3 other people, including a young girl, were wounded. Doctors say 2 of the surviving victims right now in stable condition. The other survivor, the Chabad's rabbi, has had surgery, and there was concern that he would lose one of his fingers. All of this played out on the last day of Passover, one of the most holy holidays of the year for the Jewish community. We've also learned that the suspect, his photo there, 19-year-old John Ernest, he is in custody. He has had no known prior arrests.
And we start our team coverage with 10 News reporter Natay Holmes. She has been live throughout the morning outside the Chabad of Poway.
Yeah, Natay, the community coming together this morning to really show their support for these victims.
Yeah, that's right. It's been an outpour of support. Now, Mayor Steve Vaus says that he will be visiting with the rabbi later on today, so hopefully we'll be able to get an update on his condition. But you can see out here in front of the Chabad of Poway, you can see this area is still blocked off. The sheriff deputies still have this area blocked off with the yellow tape. But as we look down right here, this is at the corner of Summerfield and Espola Avenue. Community members have left a memorial with flowers for the victims in yesterday's shooting, and the mayor says that again there has been an outpour of support from the community and all around the country.
Poway is such a remarkable community. We're called the city in the country. It's not just because of the trees and the hills. It's the attitude and the love we have for one another, including our Jewish brothers and sisters here at Chabad of Poway. We're going to stand with them.
A meeting with the mayor, the sheriff's department, and members of the congregation just days after the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting back in October because he wanted his members to be safe. Now, this is a photo the mayor shared with me after that gathering. The Rabbi Goldstein is to the far right, and we're told that the rabbi also doubled as a sheriff's chaplain. Now, keep in mind this morning there are a few road closures as investigators continue to gather evidence. This includes Espola Road, Chabad Way, Summerfield Lane, Rock Road, Alondra Drive, and the westbound Rancho Bernardo Road between the southbound I-15 off-ramp and West Bernardo Road. Now, the Sheriff's Department says there aren't any known threats to other places of worship throughout the county, and they encourage everyone to attend their Sunday services as usual, but as always, they just encourage you to stay vigilant. Live in Poway, Natay Holmes, 10 News.
Natay, thank you. And this is a photo here of a Lori Gilbert case. She was the woman who was killed in yesterday's synagogue shooting. Family and friends of Lori have posted online. In the Jewish Journal, a friend wrote about what a great life she led and how she was a, quote, jewel to the community whose final good deed was jumping in front of one of the Chabad's rabbis to save his life. Now, friends said that she will sorely be missed. Mary?
Witnesses say the rabbi of Chabad of Poway also acted very heroically during the shooting and suffered significant injuries to both of his hands. Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein, he founded the Chabad of Poway more than 30 years ago. His two sons are also rabbis there. Rabbi Goldstein's worked also as a sheriff's chaplain, as we've mentioned, and staff members at Palomar Medical Center, they are treating him. They say he was, again, shot in both hands, will likely lose a finger. And you're looking at video of Danny Almog. He was inside the synagogue yesterday, still wearing his bloody shirt. He talked to us outside the hospital about the rabbi.
Both fingers were like, one was completely cut, the other one was like hanging. And he just cared to run after the kids and grab them. He didn't care about the shooter. The rabbi was just going all around to try to save somebody.
And the three other shooting victims were taken to the hospital. That, of course, includes Lori Gilbert Kay, the woman who died, and 34-year-old Almog Peretz and his niece, 9-year-old Noya Dahan. They both have shrapnel wounds. A friend of the victims posted the little girl's picture on Facebook, saying her family had come to this country to escape violence in Israel. Goldstein and Peretz stayed overnight at the hospital. Dahan was transferred to Rady Children's.
Continuing our team coverage right now, we do go live to Rancho Penasquitos.
10 News reporter Travis Rice is live outside Our Lady Mount Carmel Catholic Church. Travis, they will certainly be addressing what happened at their services today as well.
Yes, the pastor tells me they are starting off today's service by praying specifically for their Jewish brothers and sisters. Now, many other churches and houses of worship are having similar events around the country and in San Diego today. Our Lady Mount Carmel just began their Mass at 8 a.m. and they have also sent out some invitations to prayer as they did yesterday and continuing it today. The pastor tells me they expect to be talking about this for quite some time.
Some information came out about the shooter yesterday, that he went to a high school, which is right next to our parish, Mount Carmel High School. And he's 19 years old, so I assume some of our youth went to school with him. We haven't had a chance to gather them and talk to them yet.
Pastor Shiroki says they will be talking with the students here, so hopefully their students can become a force in defeating and combating anti-Semitism. We're live outside Our Lady Mount Carmel in Rancho Penasquitos. Travis Rice, 10 News.
After news broke of yesterday's shooting, many people wanted to show their solidarity, coming together to pray and try to make sense of what happened. There was a large gathering at the Rancho Bernardo Community Presbyterian Church near the Chabad where a vigil was held. The church was standing room only.
You dispel the fear, as you congregate and come together.
It makes me stronger in my faith because I do believe, that we have to love each other.
Many of these people came together just last month when Escondido police were investigating an arson case at a mosque there, a crime for which the suspected gunman has claimed responsibility. The sheriff's department says it will be providing extra patrols at all places of worship this weekend. Deputies do remind everyone to stay vigilant.
And the suspected shooter was booked into jail just a few hours ago on first-degree murder and first-degree attempted murder charges. The 19-year-old is a nursing student at Cal State San Marcos and had no known prior criminal record. Police say he used an assault rifle style weapon during yesterday's shooting. And they also say it may have jammed, sparing countless lives. They say the shooter surrendered after calling 911 himself and then seeing a canine officer near him on the road off the freeway in Rancho Bernardo.
Suspect pulled over, jumped out of his car with his hands up, and was immediately taken into custody by the San Diego Police Department. As the officer was placing this 19-year-old male into custody, he clearly saw a rifle sitting on the front passenger seat.
Now, police also say they do have evidence linking him to that mosque fire in Escondido last month, which Ernest also bragged about in a hate-filled manifesto. Ernest is expected in court Wednesday, where he may be arraigned on additional charges as well.
10 News was on scene as a bomb squad searched John Ernest's car. We do have video of that. The gray sedan had been parked on Rancho Bernardo Road since police took him into custody. A bomb squad unit was also seen looking inside of that vehicle. Now you could see squad members walk to and from that car. We are still waiting to learn about what authorities found inside.
And President Trump condemned the attack in Poway while holding a rally in Wisconsin yesterday, saying the country is coming together behind the community.
Tonight, America's heart is with the victims of the horrific synagogue shooting in Poway, California just happened. Our entire nation mourns the loss of life, prays for the wounded, and stands in solidarity with the Jewish community.
He went on to say that anti-Semitism and hate must be defeated.
And we will continue our coverage on air this morning of this tragic shooting. Of course, we do want to encourage you. You can find all the latest information right on our website as well. We do have an interactive map to show you where all of this happened, as well as, again, the latest info on 10news.com.
And right now joining us this morning is Rabbi Josh Dorsch with the congregation Tifereth Israel in San Diego. We're so glad you have made the time to be with us this morning. You have services this morning coming up probably right after you leave here.
Right after.
What words of comfort will you have to offer to your congregation that you can extend to all of us this morning as we grieve this just horrific tragedy?
You know, it's a terrific question. It's a horrific tragedy. There's no way around it. And there's little comfort that could be offered in the light of something that's so terrible and so tragic. And in my experience, and unfortunately we have too much experience dealing and coping with tragedies of this nature, we have to be there for one another. We have to hold each other in support. We have to give one another hugs and say that we're not going to let this destroy us. We're not going to let this stop us. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
When this first happened, just knowing that 6 months ago there was an incident in Pittsburgh, how do you even begin to process that as a leader of your congregation?
Yeah, you know, these are incredibly scary times we live in. When we found out the news about what was happening yesterday in Poway, we were in the middle of our services ourselves. And you know, we were told that we should secure the perimeter of our building. We had children and parents outside in the playground playing, and we go into panic. And it's important for us to stay calm and to recognize that first, San Diego Police Department was amazing, right? They came very, very quickly to help us, to inform us, to ensure that we were safe. And as soon as we found out we were not in immediate danger ourselves, our congregation and our community, you know, we just had to sit there and really grapple with the realities of the world we live in. The first and foremost concern, I think, on anybody's mind in the wake of an attack like this is security. And ensuring our congregation, our community members, the security is of our utmost concern and utmost importance for all of our members and for our community. And we took additional measures after Pittsburgh, and now 6 months later, this is the second attack on a Jewish institution in 2 months. We are going to further investigate our security just to ensure that everybody who walks in our building is safe.
Is this just the reality that we are faced with now, that all houses of worship, particularly Jewish synagogues and temples, will have to have security? Obviously, we know there was an off-duty Border Patrol agent who was there working as a private security guard at yesterday's services at Chabad of Poway. Is that just, that is what we have to do at all houses of worship from now on?
So I can't speak for all houses of worship. I think every house of worship is going to have to make their own decisions about security. What I will say is that for our synagogue at Tifereth Israel, yes, we now have armed security guards, and I think that's the new reality of the world we live in. And it's hard. It's hard on the synagogues, it's hard on the community for a variety of reasons. You know, we try and pride ourselves as being as open and as welcoming as we can be to all, to everybody of all faiths, of all backgrounds. Come in and join us. And nothing says come and join us like being searched at the door when you have to walk in the building. But again, safety and security are of our utmost concern. We have school with 100 children, another school with 130, 140 children. And for parents and for the children, we need to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah. And lastly, very quickly, I think some of the good that we have seen, the vigil from last night showed people of all faiths coming together. Is that comforting to you, even in a small
It's incredibly
matter?
Comforting to know that we're not alone. But it's a wake-up call of the reality of the world that we live in right now. It seems almost every other month, every other week, there's a vigil. A get-together to mourn a tragedy along these kinds of lines. Thoughts, prayers, words are really kind and really comforting, But thoughts and prayers are simply not enough. If this is the new norm, this is the new status quo, something has to change.
Rabbi Josh Dorsch from Tifereth Israel, your services this morning will be a very active defiance just by holding them. So we're grateful that you could make the time to be with us this morning before you go and be with your congregation.
We appreciate that too. Our school is also open. We're going forward with all our scheduled activities.
Excellent.
Thank
Glad to
you
hear
so
that.
much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Now, 10 News Pinpoint Weather, sponsored by Mozzie Heating, Air and Solar, voted Best Heating and Air Company 2 years in a row.
And right now we do want to get quickly to our current conditions. If we take you outside here, right now I can show you across the county, we are seeing the 60s in many spots, low 60s there, Escondido and Poway. Ramona right now 57, La Jolla at 59, and Carlsbad you are currently seeing 62. As low pressure enters our region, that's going to start to change things. So we are seeing that deeper marine layer, also that chance for showers into our overnight hours. So we can see here by 11 o'clock at night, it does start to come onshore down by Metro San Diego, also the South Bay. We could start to see some of that precipitation also while many of us are sleeping. So your morning commute tomorrow could be a wet one. We are also watching a chance for thunderstorms into our overnight hours. And then by Thursday, those temperatures will start to be near average. Your forecast highs for today, we're going to be in the 60s to low 70s along the coast, a little bit warmer there in our inland valleys. Your 7-day forecast here, temperatures will start to drop Monday into Tuesday. So just be prepared for any pop-up showers that we do get tomorrow. And then the latter half of the week is expected to be dry, windy in the mountains, and very hot if you are heading to the deserts.
And we will continue our coverage, of course, of yesterday's deadly shooting. We do have some other big stories to get to here this morning. So coming up, we'll hear from a La Jolla woman who survived the Sri Lankan Easter bombing. She's counting her blessings. We'll tell you what she says might be the reason she survived.
You are watching 10 News this morning. It is 8:12.